Hey Bulldogs, I promised that we were going to finish this pinball machine, and we are. We're on our final chapter, and we're going to figure out how do we make a moving pinball change directions. We have worked so hard on these things so far. This is what we know about forces. That can be a push or a pull or a throw or a kick or a hit. So we know all about forces, and you guys really nailed that. We know if we want it to go a short distance, we're going to give it a gentle force. If we want it to go a long distance, it's going to be a strong force. And we can change direction. We can make it go to the left or the right. And we can make it also change direction of a moving object when we already have a moving object, or if we go against a still object. So this is what we've done so far. We made the pinball start to move with our launcher. We could make it go a short distance, a long distance, to the left, to the right, and we can hit our target, and then we can make it change direction, and that's what we're going to work on today. So I've asked a couple of my favorite engineers to help us. So let's get started. Hey, I found these two engineers, Mark and Chad, which happen to be my sons, and you have way more experience being an engineer than they do. So they're going to jump into the part where we're trying to figure out where the best target is. So go ahead and use your launchers and your pinball balls and see which one is the easiest to get to and the most consistently. Okay, so like any engineers, they're having to try it out, plan, and then make a plan as they go. So Chad, for you to get it to 4, did you need to exert a strong force or a gentle force?
Gentle force.
And Mark, to get it to 1 or 2, what kind of force did you need? Strong or
Extreme.
Gentle? Okay,
Extremely
I guess
strong.
he means strong.
Extremely
All right.
strong.
Okay, so we're going to give him a few minutes, and we'll come back later. So we know good engineers have to communicate their ideas. So Chad, tell Mark what some tricks that you found when you were trying to get it to number 1 or 2.
Pulling it to the left and to the right corners helped me get to 1 or 2.
And Mark, what helped you get to 1 or 2?
Same thing. I would pull it over to the side, and then I would try and judge the angle, and then I would exert a strong force, like so.
Very good. So, based on your observations, Chad, where do you think we should put our target 1, 2, 3, or 4 on our class pinball machine?
1.
1, and Mark, what would you say?
I concur. 1 seemed to be the most often struck target.
Oh, wow. Okay, very good. We're going to give that a try in just a second. So now we're going to try it on our class pinball machine. And during the break we took a second ago, Mark and Chad said they want to give 1 and 2 a try. So we've labeled our class pinball machine, and so we'll see which is easier. So Chad, why don't you do it like 4 times?
1.
1.
2.
3. Okay, so Chad, which one do you think was easier to get to on this one?
1.
Yeah, based on this observation. Okay, so Mark, why don't you scoot in where Chad is, and you can have 4 tries and see which way you can get it.
I got 2.
This is attempt number 1. Attempt number 2. Attempt number 3. Attempt number 4.
Mark, based on your observations and where would you move that to? Where would you move your post-it to?
I would move it to roughly here, just left of the center.
Okay, give that a try and see if that works.
What? It's the left.
You can get it to go to 1 now that we've moved it. Chad?
Whoa. Whoa.
Wow.
Oh,
You might need slightly more force. Perfect.
Oh, very good, perfect. All right, we're gonna stop right there, and then go on to our next step. So as we saw previously when we were in class, we got to see a pinball machine, and we noticed that it had bumpers that the ball kept bouncing off so we could keep the ball in play. So what you two are gonna get are one rubber band, and you can use it on the slots, and you can put it however you want to angle it to be a bumper. Okay, so here's yours, and here's yours, and we'll come back and see how they do. All right, so Mark and Chad have put in their bumpers, and you can put them, we could have put them anywhere you want. The bumper is actually a still object, like we were talking about earlier. It has a little bit of movement, but not as much as the next thing we're gonna add. So we're gonna see that they put their bumpers in different places, and let's watch for a minute and see how they work out. Okay, so let's stop for a second. So Chad, what observations are you making on yours? What is working and what isn't working with your new bumper?
it's bouncing off of it, but I think this needs to be moved.
Oh, okay. Very good. How about you, Mark? What's working, what's not working?
I think it's working for the most part. I think it'd be good if I had one more bumper right here. So then, because sometimes it goes over here, but most of the time it hits this one, or it hits right here and bounces back.
Okay, so I'm glad you said that, because you know what? You have the option of adding another bumper, so we'll come back and see where they added their second bumper if they chose. So Mark and Chad, our engineers, have added their second rubber band. So Mark, why don't you go ahead and show them how yours is working? And can you explain like your method on why you placed them, or what you're finding out?
I put this one here because every once in a while the ball would go over there and I would just wanted to make sure that it bounced back over. First I put it here so that it was more like that, but that didn't really do what I wanted it to do because I don't need it to get this far over. So I moved it to here and then it sends it back sooner.
Nice.
And it's more accurate.
Great. And Chad, can you show us where you put yours and tell us why you did that?
I did it there because it bounces here a lot, but I thought if it went here, it'd bounce here and hit there better.
Can you show us how it's working?
That was a bad example.
It's okay. They're all going to be different, so try it a couple more times.
Aha. That one worked much better.
Nice. Well, thank you. So now we've seen what a still object does, meaning the bumpers. We're going to see a perfect place to put it on the class one, and we'll be right back. All right, we are on our final step. They've added the flippers, which is now a moving object hitting a moving object. And so we're going to see what they came up with, and they've been working on this for quite a while. So Mark, why don't you show us what you're doing and then kind of explain it as you
All right.
do it.
So launch it. We got these flippers here on the side to keep it going back up. And I'm just flicking them when the ball comes down to send it back up.
And did you try any other ways that didn't work as well?
I tried putting them up here in these holes,
Uh-huh.
but it's too high, I think.
Okay. So you made your adjustments based on your trials, and
Yeah, because up here, then sometimes they trap the ball. They could, or they don't hit it as much.
okay. All right, thanks. Okay, Chad, you want to show us what you've done and kind of talk us through it as you work it?
Yeah, I put them I put the rubber band behind these, so it's not as loose when you hit it, so it doesn't fly out. That way you can just snap them. Oop.
Seems like you're hitting the target pretty consistently.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Just a little bit of force.
Statistically, how often are you hitting the target?
I'd say 1 in 8.
Oh, I'd say even more often. But we're going to go ahead and take what we know about the flippers and we're going to apply that to the class pinball machine. We're almost finished. Here we go. Okay, so Chad's put his flippers on the class machine and we're seeing what kind of success he's having and what kind of method he's using. Seems like he's flicking his finger at the end of it. He's got the flippers pretty close together. Would you say you have pretty good control?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely some really good control with this.
Looks like you're hitting it pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, Mark, do you want to, would you make any adjustments to that, or what would you do? You want to show us?
Sure. Pardon me, sir.
Nice job.
I don't know if I'd make any adjustments. It looks pretty good. Looks like we got it working here. The only thing I would adjust is, I guess, if we want. At this point, you never have to relaunch it. So I don't know if that's good. It's fine.
Well, in a real pinball machine, yeah, it would just, once it gets past the flippers, it goes away.
Yeah, exactly. So
this one, I mean, you could go on for a long time.
you're going forever because it's never going to make it past the flippers.
Yeah, I like it. Well, what do you think, engineers? Do you think we had success?
I do.
Give me 5. Give me 5. I couldn't be any more excited. I'm so excited that we got to finish it. And it was definitely takes more than one engineer and some planning. And thank you so much.
It was a team effort.
I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed doing it. And maybe you can find some supplies and you guys can finish it too. But you guys did all the hard work. I love you. And go engineer something. Yay.
Yay.